Hey guys, Letter Magic here, and it's time to answer the question on everybody's mind. If you were to open a pack or two or 30 of Commander Legends, what are the top money cards to get excited about? And this is a top 9 list because the 10th place for $10 would be, I think, an 8-way tie, 7-way tie, something like that. They're all $10, it's mostly the lands. So let's start with Sphinx of the Second Sun at a whopping $11. So for 8 mana, it's a flying 6/6, but I think what most people are after is the second beginning phase, so untap, upkeep, draw. All of that happens an additional time after your second main phase. I mean, yeah, for 8, untap everything and get another card. Another upkeep trigger, I guess. I could see that doing all kinds of different things. Makes sense. And it's not like a $50 card, it's $11. Next up, pre-ordering at $12. These all are pre-order prices, by the way. They're bound to go down a bit. It's Commander's Plate. So +3/+3, cool. Cheaper to equip to your commander, cool. Not insane to equip to something else. Okay, cool. But what I don't like is the unreliability. It's your creature gets protection from each color that's not in your commander's color identity. So that might be a home run against your opponent, or it might be absolutely nothing. That I don't like, but the less colors that your commander is, the more likely that you'll get some benefit out of it. So I could see certain people wanting this. Next up, the absolutely insane card Hull Breacher. Any card draw from any opponent that isn't the first one they draw during their draw phase, you immediately stop it and get a treasure token in its place. In multiplayer, this is insane. So this card, I hate to say only because $18 is a lot, but it's only $18. I feel like it could go even higher. A universal unlimited extra draw stopper for all of your opponents at once that doesn't cost any mana. That's what that triggered ability is. It's just crazy. Next up, it's the regular version of Tevesh Zot, Doom of Fools. The borderless one's a different story. I don't know if we ever found out why that one dude who stole all these had so many of them, but whatever. So he can be a commander, he has partner, his -10 is pretty insane. You get all commanders immediately in play under your control. That's always fun, but it's really hard to get to 10. The +2 is cool, blockers, whatever, so you might be able to stall to get to 10. But then the +1 is kind of cool. It's just your good old sack and draw. So, you get a lot of mileage out of that, and the fact that it's a plus is pretty crazy. It's not really a full plus because you're now losing a creature. But from his standpoint, it's a plus. So yeah, if you end up getting to 10, you could run the game. So I could see somebody with enough defense to protect him wanting to pay $20 for him, which is what he is. Next up, no surprise here, although it is a surprise, it's tied for 4th place with another card at exactly $28, which is weirdly specific. It's Opposition Agent. Whenever somebody searches the library for anything, you control it, and basically you get the card. People are complaining about this, but honestly, tutoring should be against the rules in Commander anyway. Tutoring represents everything that's wrong with competitive Commander. Hyper consistent going to get the same cards with the same combo every single game is so the absolute opposite of how Commander is supposed to work. It's supposed to be dynamic and play differently every time, thus the 99+1 singleton. And I'm just glad this is here to equalize, but even in my modified rules for Commander where I said just all tutoring is against the rules, you just can't do it. I left it open for lands that fetch other lands, just for color fixing, because I don't consider that tutoring, I consider it fetching, because it is. And this would stop that. That's going a little far. Now, that said, you can't make this your commander, so how the hell are you going to get this, and dropping it into play? Probably with a tutor spell, ironically. But yeah, it's powerful. I could see it being $28. It makes sense. Next up, Scroll Rack. No surprise that this is also $28. I'm actually surprised it's not more. I believe it used to be quite a bit more. So you pay 1, you tap it, and then you exile any amount of cards you want from your hand. And then however many you did, you draw that many off the top of your deck, but then you put the cards you, in theory, didn't want back on top of your deck in any order. So you're going to pull them unless you can, Evolving Wilds or something or whatever, fetch land and shuffle your library for some reason. Or if you don't really care, you did want them, and now you're counting on it to not shuffle. You could probably get it to work either way. So if you're like, I got 5 cards in hand and I kind of want all of them, but not immediately, maybe they're a little bit higher than the mana you have available, okay, slap them down on top of your library, draw them later, and in the meantime, you've got all new cards. Next up, we're jumping up. It went 11, 12, 18, 20, tied for 28, and then 60. Ed's Vampiric Tutor. It's a 1 cost black instant that says search your library for a card, shuffle obviously, then put the card on top of it so that you draw it next turn and then you lose 2 life. So bit of a penalty, bit of, opening the door to, maybe it won't still be on the top of your library. Some combos that you do with this card, you don't actually want the card in hand. You want it on top of your library so that you can do something about the next card on top of your library. Like make sure it's a really high mana cost or make sure that it's a creature or something and then activate some other ability that cares about that. But really, it's just a 1-turn delayed tutor card. And I think for 1 mana, considering this is a universal tutor, yeah, it's 1-turn delayed, but okay. It costs 1 and it's instant speed, so you could just cast it during your opponent's end step and then, oh, well, now it's my turn. Oh, look, I drew it. It did take the place of drawing a different card, unlike, just tutoring the card straight to your hand. But other than that, this card is so broken and degenerate in Commander. I know a lot of you out there are probably like, yeah, but I play it legit. I'm just like, oh, I'm going to go get a card I need, whatever. But in the turn 2 win infinite combo, whatever's, this is involved very commonly. So in my opinion, they should have banned this from Commander just to stop all those decks from doing stupid, degenerate, repetitive crap. But the Commander Rules Committee or whatever, they don't seem to really care. They're just like, there's high-level play, there's low-level play, and turn 2 infinite, whatever. Somebody's going to do it. Who cares? At least they changed how mulliganing worked. That helped quite a bit, actually. So next up, no surprise, here we got Mana Drain. I think everybody remembers this from Iconic or whatever it was in as the Big Bomb card. Same artwork too, so pretty easy to remember. And it is a whopping $70 bill, if that were a thing that existed. So yeah, this is a little bit better than the card Counterspell. What does that tell you? So let's say you countered a spell that cost 8, which you probably should. That sounds powerful. Cool, now you get 8 mana at the beginning of your next main phase, whenever that is. Oh my gosh, you could win games with this. You can turn whole games around. This card is absolutely insane. So as much as I wouldn't and don't like the idea of paying $70 for, 1 card for your 99 plus 1 deck, I don't think any card really in the history of the game should be above $20 except for extremely old rare collectibles or whatever. I could see why this would be so expensive because it's just the best of, and there weren't many floating around. So I see how it got there, I just don't think it should be there. And finally, speaking of exactly what I just said, Jeweled freaking Lotus. I don't even know how to price this one. Card Kingdom, their price is $140, but I think they haven't updated it because they're already sold out. So either they got more pre-orders than they're comfortable, assuring people that they'll pull and ship on day 1, or they're just not selling it until the price settles. Not 100% sure, probably somewhere in between, really. But I've seen this go as high on pre-orders as 200 plus. I think I last saw it at 220. So this is just out of control, outrageous. I guess they're, yeah, we made it. Yeah, it's a new thing. Yeah, it's got Lotus in there. Yeah, it's basically Black Lotus, except with a stupidly restricted way to spend the mana, which really just takes it from Black Lotus and crashes it back down to reality. But still, as much as they tried to defend it and say, oh no, this isn't broken, people are giving examples of, okay, look, I could get out this commander on turn 2. Hell, I could get out this commander on turn 1. One of them makes everybody's spells cost more, so you're already so far ahead of your opponent. Yeah, this is just a bad situation generator. That's what they should have called it. Bad situation Lotus. Lotus of blasting ahead of your opponents unfairly. At least it's colorless and it's universally useful, so people could legitimately money draft this card at a Commander Legends draft and just straight face not say anything. And not really feel bad about it either. It's not like it's capable of being an off-color card, so, just saying. Mana Drain's a different story, and as much as I'm, competitive, $70 is $70. How much are the prizes for your event? Just saying. So yeah, this is the clear leader. Everybody's pissed that it exists, and now Wizards is going to feel pressure to do something about it, but that they seem to have some kind of policy against acting against cards that have just been printed and are in a product that's still for sale. As soon as it's not for sale, then it starts ticking. So I bet a year or 2 from now, they'll probably ban this. Although I say they like it's Wizards, it's not. The Commander ban list is handled by the Commander ban committee, which, as they proved, is completely in Wizards' pocket and doesn't want to piss them off because they're currently in charge of, allegedly, massive insider trading, and they don't want to lose that spot. So they're just like, if we piss off Wizards, it'll cost us thousands of dollars. Okay, well, we'll just do whatever they say then. That's at least the way most people are seeing it. So yeah, that's the unfortunate story of the number 1 on this list. I wouldn't hold this. I would sell it as quickly as possible while it's hot. It's obviously going to probably go down in price over time. I mean, this is one where I'd say not necessarily, but that is the general trend. And honestly, if you're on a budget and you keep it real, you could buy an entire commander deck with the cost of just this one card. So the one thing I would like to point out to anybody who is like, oh, I spent, $4, $5, $6 on a pack and I pulled this, so, whatever, I'm going to keep it. Of course, I'd love to throw it in my commander deck and I don't immediately need, $200 right now. Let me just remind you real quick that if this card gets banned from commander, it is not usable in any other format because it says spend this mana only to cast your commander. So if this card gets banned from commander because it just becomes obvious that it's so disruptive and so toxic, it's worthless. I bet you that we would see this at $5, and that would be a speculative price for if a miracle happens and they ever unban it, which they wouldn't. It'll be proven to be too broken. Either that or it's like, okay, it's in high level competitive commander. It's no more broken or degenerate than Vampiric Tutor and the other crap that people play. And it still has to be in your opening hand to work, so like, okay, whatever, who cares? It's just another dark ritual. How much worse could it make the game? Couple percent doesn't really fly off the handle. Or this could be the most game-breaking trash we've ever seen. Really hard to predict. Nobody's willing to put a hard yes or no on that. But if it's no, you've got a $5 or less card sitting there. So I would get rid of this like it is literally on fire and you need to throw it away from yourself as quickly as possible before it explodes. Just my take on it. That's what I'm going to do if I get one, which I don't intend to buy any of this product anyway. And I'll tell you what, I don't even know what a foil of this is. No idea. It's looking like about 230 you could order it for right now. Mana Drain's 140, Vampiric Tutor is 100, Opposition Agent is 60, Hull Breacher is 40, Scroll Rack is only 40. I thought that was kind of weird. And then Thought Vessel foil, I think that's the first time it's ever printed in foil, is actually 30, so do watch out for that one. And the rest are about what you would expect. Commander's Plate is 20. So that is the breakdown. Now you know what to get excited about if you're opening this, and I will see you guys next video.